Hello there. Back again with J&J Dynasty. Just wanted to touch base with you. It's been a couple days here again. I'm sorry I'm shaking the table, so can't do that. I'm gonna have to back off a little bit. A couple things just with this episode. I want to go through some just general news on some players. Some things have been happening. I don't know if they're really big things, but things. And then just I'm in my last draft right now. So I just picked Brees Hall 101, and now I've got to wait till 203 for my next pick. And I just made a trade this morning. I wound up picking up Saquon Barkley. So stay tuned to see what I had to give up to get Saquon Barkley. So let's get into the news here. Oh, by the way, if you like the content or if you don't, comment below, right? If you want me to take a look at some of your draft picks or teams and give you any comments or suggestions or thought processes, right or wrong, you can definitely do that. So definitely feel free to comment below. Shoot me a link or your email, and I can email you back, and we can go back and forth with what you have. Another thing, so just want to get to the new click the like and subscribe, ring the bell for when an episode is coming on, right? So let's go here with some news. We'll start off with the bad news, right? Mechie, the rookie for Houston, leukemia, not looking good. Hopefully, I mean, it looks like it's a very curable, and he might be back next year. But at this point, anybody getting leukemia is not good. So, kind of craptacular if you drafted him early in the second round this year. It's going to take a couple of years before you're going to see any results on that. But hopefully, you can stick him on your IR. Justin Ross too, right to the IR if you have drafted him. Some people were drafting him in the late second and early third rounds, early in drafts, and in early drafts like in May, early June. So I mean, they've got an IR spot filled already. So fun times with that. Let's get into some of the less newsy news, right? I said Chris Carson is retiring. So that's becoming official here now. And Julio Jones just signed with Tampa Bay. Now, really, all that stuff means is nothing, all that kind of news, because at best you're going to put guys on the IR with all the first guys. With Julio, I wouldn't touch him. He is the skeletal remains of Julio Jones right now. Even Tom Brady, I don't think, can save him. Now, I'm not going to say he's not going to have a big game or two this year, but he's probably going to be third wide receiver, maybe until Godwin gets back, and fourth or worse after that. So I don't expect big things from him. So be that as it may, I mean, do what you want to do with that news, and I'm not going to chase him even on teams that I'm in contention with. So that's just that. Apparently, in other news, the 49ers have selected Lance to be their starting quarterback this year, and they're going to be moving Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G is supposedly on his way to NYG, the New York Giants. I would assume that, the Seahawks might be a better destination, or Atlanta or something like that, but that's the hot rumor, is Jimmy G off to NYC, right? So that's that news. Moving on to my last draft. Yay, 101. I picked Brees Hall. So I've got 2-3, 2-9, 2-11, and 3-1 in that draft. I know where I'm going to be going. I'm hopeful. Depending on how it breaks down, Spiller or Algier at 2-3 is what I'm going to be looking at. At 2-9, I'm probably going to be looking at Tolbert. At 2-11, hopefully Bell and Pierce are there. So I will take one of those two, whoever's left over. And 3-1, hopefully Bell or Pierce is still there. If not, being I just selected Brees Hall, the guy who has Michael Carter wanted 2-3. So if I don't have anybody that I want to select at 3-1 or even maybe at 2-11, I might swap that pick for Michael Carter. That way I have a handcuff. So that's how that draft is hopefully going to go. I've had some thought processes about taking 211 and 3-1, and then adding, because I've got three in that league. I've got 2 first-round picks next year and 3 second-round picks next year. So I've got the defending champions second-round pick. My part of my thought process is if I get to 2-3 and Spiller and Algier are both on the board, a guy right behind me has, I think it's 2 straight picks, or maybe there's one guy between us. But if we can get to that point, I might offer that guy 3-1, 211, and a second-round pick next year to move from 211 and 3-1 up to 2-4, 2-5, I think. So let me know maybe if that's something that you would think about doing here. I'm going to have a couple days to chew on that one. Right now we're at pick 6 or 7's on the clock right now. So got a little ways to go. So probably tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, Saturday morning maybe. That might be the time frame for those picks. I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about was I just made a trade. I finally was able to move Chuba Hubbard. I've been trying to move him in one league. I had him left, and I bought the team because he was on it. And so I finally moved him. I bought the team. It was him. It was Chuba. It was Hunt, I believe. It was like Gaskin and some other guys. And this is the for sale team that I've chronicled before. But I picked up Antonio Gibson fairly cheap right before the draft, which I then put me, I thought, maybe in contending mode. So what I did was, and I wound up having the second pick. So I wound up getting Chubb, Swift, Gibson, and Walker were the running backs. So what I did was I also drafted David Bell, and I had him, and so the trade was actually Saquon Barkley and Nico Collins for Chuba Hubbard and David Bell. Now, according to every trade calculator and everything that I saw, I'm losing that trade. But I added in a 5th and a 4th-round pick because I think that with Saquon, with those running backs, and with the wide receivers, with the upside that I have, I mean, I don't have good wide receivers in that league. I'm not gonna lie about it. There's a lot of tier four guys, but it's like Russell Gage, Paris Campbell, Marshall Mooney, Bateman, those kind of guys, all young guys with a lot of upside, right? So with that being said, if my wide receivers can come through, I can, maybe be a player in the playoffs in that league. So I'm giving it a shot. We'll see what happens with that. I've got a 1st and 2 seconds in that league, so I can still go around and make a move or two if I need another wide receiver. That league, I also picked up Calvin Ridley for a 3rd-round pick next year. So he's holding down a roster spot. Maybe I can, package somebody with Ridley and get a real nice wide receiver for somebody who's on rebuild. At any rate, because, with Ridley, then they don't get the points and they don't move up in the standings for the draft. They keep going down to the better draft pick. So basically, I thought that was a pretty good, deal there to move Chuba. The nice part about it is I wound up getting a year younger, and I wound up getting a pass receiving option in the backfield. I really like David Bell. I'm not the biggest Nico Collins fan. Never have been. Probably never will be. But with the Mechie news, with knowing that Nico Collins is probably going to be 100%, the wide receiver too, that in Houston, and they're going to be behind a lot. So he could easily catch 4 balls in the last 2 drives for 40 yards. And if he did nothing all day, wind up with 12 points. So I figured that he might be a quote-unquote breakout kind of guy where a lot of people will be on him, and maybe I can even trade him back for Bell next year plus something. So I wasn't too scared about giving up the 4th and the 5th, and the 4th and the 5th were my picks, and if I'm in the playoffs and it's a late 4th and a 5th, I don't really care as long as I get the deal done, right? So that's kind of the way I looked at that, and it just you don't have to crush every transaction or every deal. I mean, Doesn't matter what the trade calculator says. It doesn't matter what Fan Pro says. You want to make sure that you get what you want out of the deal. I have a bunch of extra picks in that league, so I was able to give up those picks that are basically worthless. But I want those types of picks just for that simple reason. It's a little bit extra that's going to get your deal done. I mean, if I would have just kept beating them down with the same two guys, Nico for Bell, Chubb for Barkley, we probably don't get that deal done. But because I'm throwing in that little bit of extra asset, it's winds up being two picks. He may or may not even wind up using those picks. But because he gets that extra, the deal gets done. I get what I want. He gets what he wants. Maybe you never know. I mean, maybe he's going to turn his roster around and he thinks he's going to win, and he thinks that he needs those picks for bye-week replacements to trade for them, those guys. So you never know. We'll see how the season plays out. I'm happy with the deal. That's my second share of Saquon Barkley picked up this year in the offseason. So I'm looking for him to have a big year. I do like Chubb more that Deshaun Watson is not there, but I don't like the receiving upside of Chubb. Now, next year, Chubb is supposed to be a free agent, but Barkley could be a free agent next year also. So it's kind of a wash, but Barkley's a year younger. So that's the biggest way I'm looking at that one. It gives me an extra year with Barkley. Nico's a year older than Bell. Bell came out as a senior also. So both Big Ten receivers. It is what it is. So give me your comments below, right? Click like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And looking forward to the next time. Until then, take care from J&J Dynasty.